let's go over polynomial long division method. So we're dividing 5x squared minus 2x minus 10. So let's put that inside. 5x squared minus 2x minus 10. And we are dividing this by x minus 1. So I'll put that outside. So we set up the long division this way, and we will get started. So the first, divide 5x squared by x. Okay, so let me go ahead and write that down on the side. Divide 5x squared by x. If you do that, you will get 5x, right? So you write that 5x on top, okay? And next, you will multiply this 5x to, you will distribute this 5x to x and negative 1, and you will write that answer under here. Okay, so let's do that. 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times negative 1 is negative 5x. So once you have that written down, we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract vertically, okay? So let me go ahead and get rid of some of these lines. If I subtract 5x squared minus 5x from the line above, let's focus one line at a time. You see 5x squared minus 5x squared will cancel out and just give you 0, right? Now pay attention to this part for me because this is going to be important. If you subtract a negative, if you subtract a negative 5x, you agree that's the same thing as adding 5x, right? So when I do this, guys, instead of subtracting, what I do is I add the opposites. Okay, let's see if that makes sense. Subtracting, for example, is like, let's say 10 minus 7. But I can do the same, I can get the same answer by adding the opposite, right? I can just add negative of it, right? So what I'm going to do is I will just change the sign of the bottom line, make this one negative, make this one positive, and I will add the lines vertically. It's same as subtracting, but what I'm doing is I am changing the signs of the second line and I'm just adding it. I am adding the opposites here. So as you can see, this 5x squared and negative 5x squared cancels. And if I add negative 2x and positive 5x, I will get 3x. Bring down the negative 10. And let's do the division one more time, okay? Divide 3x by x. Okay, let's write that down. We are divide 3x by x, which is 3. It's positive 3, so put plus 3 next to 5x, okay? And then, same thing, we're going to distribute or multiply this 3 to x minus 1, and we will put that answer down here, okay? So that will, the first term will be 5x times 3 times x, that is 3x. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Okay, so next is to subtract, but instead of subtracting, you know how I do it. I change the sign of the second line. This will be negative, this will be positive, and then I just combine the like terms vertically. So 3x and negative 3x will cancel out, as you can see. But if I combine negative 10 and positive 3, I will get the remainder of negative 7. So I'll circle this and I will call it the remainder. And if you're wondering about where is the answer, here is the quotient. So that part is the quotient, which means answer to a division. Okay? So they said your answer should give the quotient and the remainder. We found it. Quotient is 5x plus 3 and remainder is negative 7. So this is called polynomial long division. This is very similar to how you divide just numbers. Like if you're dividing this number by 2, then you first divide 10 divided by 2, and then you subtract. It's very similar to just numerical division, but we are doing it with polynomial. Let me do one more example, and I will ask you to try one yourself. All right, let's go down here. It says divide 12x squared plus 2x minus 4. So that is what I'm going to write inside. 12x squared plus 2x minus 4 inside. And then I'm dividing this by 3x plus 2. First question is, what is 12x squared divided by 3x? To figure out what goes in the first part of the quotient. So 12x squared divided by 3x is 4x. You're going to write that 4x up here. And you will distribute that 4x. And you will put this down here. Okay? So if I multiply 4x times 3x, that is 12x squared. And if I multiply 4x times 2, 4 times 2 will give me 8x. So I'll write down plus 8x there. Now I need to subtract. But instead of subtracting, I'm going to just change the signs of the second line, make that negative, make this negative, and I will combine the like terms vertically. So as you can see, the 12x squared and negative 12x squared, that cancels out, all right? But if I combine 2x and negative 8x, that's going to give me negative 6x. And I bring down the minus 4. All right, we're dividing one more time. So divide the first term. The first term here is negative 6x. So what is negative 6x divided by 3x? That is negative 2. So you write down negative 2 next to the 4x, and we're going to distribute or multiply negative 2 to this term. And we will write that answer below negative 6x minus 4. So if I multiply, negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. And negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of these lines in the box. And the next line, what I will do is I'll change the second line sign, plus and plus, and I will combine the like terms vertically. Oh, take a look. Something cool happens. Negative 6x and positive 6x cancels out. Negative 4x and positive 4x also cancels out. The only thing that we have left is 0. So guess what? The remainder is 0 this time. So remainder is 0, which means x3x plus 2 must be this must be a factor. Okay? Just like if you divide 35, you can divide it into 5 times 7, right? 5 is a factor, 7 is a factor of 35. So if it divides evenly with no remainder, we get to say it's a factor. We'll talk about that when we get to the factor theorem on this note, okay? All right, but what about the quotient? What is the answer to this division problem? Up here, 4x minus 2, that is the quotient. Okay, so that's how you do polynomial long division. If you want to see one more example, I'm going to go ahead and do the you try. But if you want to stop the video and try it yourself and check back, try it and see if you can get the right answer this time for this problem. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So if you want to try it yourself, stop the video now. I'm going to put 4x squared plus 19x plus 22 inside. And I will put x plus 3 outside. And I'm dividing the first term. 4x squared divided by x. If you divide 4x squared divided by 1x, that is equal to 4x. So I put 4x up top. And this 4x will get distributed, and I will go ahead and write that underneath. Okay? So if I multiply, I will get 4x squared. And 4x times 3 is 12x. Positive 12x. Okay, so that's going good so far. And I subtract vertically, but instead of subtracting, I'm just going to change the signs and combine like terms. So what will happen is the 4x squared and negative 4x square will cancel out. If I combine these two, what is 19 minus 12? Is that 7x? Okay, 7x comes down, and let's bring down that plus 22. Now I divide the first terms again. What is 7x divided by x? So 7x divided by x is 7. So put plus 7 next to the 4x. And let's go ahead and multiply the 7 to x and 3. And we will put that under here. Okay, ready? So 7 times x is 7x. 3 times 7 is 21. We're doing good. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sign of the second line. And then I will add them vertically. Okay? So what happened to this positive 7x and negative 7x? That cancels out. And if I combine 21 and negative 21, I will get the remainder of 1. So remainder is 1. Remainder is 1. And the quotient is 4x plus 7. Quotient. So that's it. That is how you can do the long division. Come back and check out the other video on synthetic division. Both methods are fine, and I tend to kind of use synthetic division a little more unless I have to use a long division. It's not my favorite thing, but it's important that we know how to do this because some cases synthetic division does not work. Then we have to use a long division. So I want you to practice the long division problems on your ALEKS and come back and check out the synthetic division lesson video.